Hi everyone, this is Jenny Durham. I will be teaching 8th grade English this year. I'm sorry we can't meet in person, so I will do the best I can to introduce you to me and to the course and talk about my teaching philosophy so you will have a good picture of what we will be doing this year. First of all, this is my first year at Wardlaw Hartridge, but it is my 23rd year of teaching. Definitely the strangest beginning of the year of teaching. It is so much fun to be back in the classroom. I really missed it, and I realized on Friday that it had been almost 6 months since I had had 5 days in a row of in-person in the classroom teaching, and I just missed it so much. It feels so great to be back. And especially at Wardlaw Hartridge, the students have been incredibly warm and welcoming and made me feel at home immediately. A little bit of trivia about me. I spent most of my life in New Mexico. I grew up in Las Cruces, and then I spent most of my adult life in Albuquerque. I moved to Poughkeepsie 4 years ago, and here I am in Jersey now. One of the things I really want to emphasize in this video is the importance of communication. Communication is always important. Open and direct communication is vital to the success of the students' learning, but especially in a pandemic. There are going to be many complications, I'm sure, throughout the year, and the more we communicate, the better. The best way to contact me is by email at jdurham@whschool.org. And then if we need to set up a time to talk on the phone, we can, but it is much easier if we do that coordinating of times by email. Just so you know, my syllabus is on PowerSchool. Your student can download that for you if you would like to go through my syllabus, looking at more detail what I'm going to go over today. This course revolves around an essential question. I like to do all of my teaching inquiry-based, and the essential question for the year for us is, when should an individual take a stand to confront a problem? I cannot imagine a more important or timely question than this question, so I am incredibly excited to hear the students' thoughtful ideas about this question. In fact, I've already had them write a journal so that they would have on this question, so they would have this in their heads and be thinking about it throughout this year. In the class, there will be a capstone project where they will look at a specific problem and individuals confronting that problem. It is an action research project. It will go throughout the year, and more on that will be coming. It is a reading intensive course. I like to have my students read closely for detail, really paying attention to language use, anything that is impacting them as a reader. I also like to make reading a habitual part of the students' lives. I'm going to try to do short, everyday reading assignments. This is a place where it's especially important for you all to communicate with me. I want it to be a habit, but I don't want it to become overwhelming, so I'm going to be experimenting around with the lengths of reading assignments. I don't want students to get bored, but I also don't want them to get stressed out. So if you need to let me know how that's going, please do so. We will be writing a lot. I try to do journal writing, if not every day, almost every day. Those are very short brainstorm responses that the students write. And it's really about developing their critical thinking and individual ideas. It really helps them to grow as writers and readers, and I love hearing all of the ideas that the students have in their journal responses. as I tell them, the idea is you get a bunch of individual smart brains and you put them together and you create a super brain. They will be writing in different genres as well. They'll be writing about books, they'll be writing essays. My writing philosophy is that all writing is creative and persuasive. Often, even by 8th grade, there's some negativity around writing essays. What I really pitch for them is that, again, all writing is creative. Essays are creative writing. I don't separate that out from short story writing, poetry writing. Just because essays have particular structural requirements doesn't mean they're less creative. And essays are a place to really develop their writing voices, in addition to those other genres that I mentioned. One of the most important skills that I teach the students are student-centered discussions. So in many ways, I feel like that is most vital right now, especially. It's not being modeled for them well out in the adult world, where having a group of people who have different opinions, because we're humans, so we have different opinions, being able to sit in a room and communicate and listen and learn from each other collaboratively is absolutely crucial skill. So we will spend a lot of time on that. I have discussion guidelines. I have all kinds of strategies for helping with that. It is more complicated, as everything is, with hybrid teaching, but I worked on this a lot in the spring at my previous school, and then I did a ton of professional development on this over the summer to really work and make sure that my course is staying student-centered. That is my most important one of my most important goals, and so I do have specific strategies to help out with that. Discussions are always the students' favorite. They're always just really eager to be able to have that kind of collaborative learning space. So I just want to remind you that my syllabus is on PowerSchool, and if you go through that, you can again see more details about what I went over quickly here. I do have on there my late policies. You should look at that. The philosophy behind my late policy is that I want to find a balance of how to help students not have a buildup of missing work and then cause extreme stress for themselves. And I'm also not going to be so strict about deadlines that I'm causing them to have stress and difficulty. So both of those things interfere with learning, and learning is the goal. So again, I do have policies there that I have tried many different ways of doing this. This one has been the most successful, but it also really hinges on that communication. If a student is having trouble with Wi-Fi, I'm not going to hit them with late penalties at all. I just want to make sure that we are communicating so I can be as supportive as I possibly can. Books that we will read in the first term are House of the Scorpion and Animal Farm. I am very excited to be reading those with your students. And then I want to end this video with some words of one of my 8th grade students, Ruhi. I did a questionnaire at the beginning of the year, and one of the questions on it was, what else do you think I should know so that I can be a better teacher for you? And this is her response. I'm reading it to you because she articulated what I strive to be as a teacher more clearly than I have ever been able to articulate it myself. So here you go. Here is the quote. Ways that you can be a better teacher for me are the opportunities to learn to be kind to one another. I like teachers who understand the students from their perspective of learning about the world. As an observant self, I have learned to read people from their actions, emotions, and empathy. So I would say be a teacher who notices the changes in behavior in a student. Be a teacher who inspires students to take risks out of their comfort zone. Be a teacher who your students will remember for years to come. Effort is needed, but stress isn't. So I would like to leave you with this last sentence and hope that we can all internalize this. Effort is needed, but stress isn't. Bye.